where news comes first. This is NBC 24 News Today.
Welcome back. 6:43 is the time right now. And as we've been telling you all morning, there's a first-of-its-kind conference on prostitution that's going on at the University of Toledo.
Now, joining us now in our studios is Bissell. She's a former prostitute turned author. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, we do have a shot of your book right here that you have written, and we can pull that up on the screen, this book they have. Now, this book is called Memoirs of a Sex Industry Survivor, and it explores the link between sexual abuse and prostitution and pornography. Can you tell us a bit about your story, which led you into the prostitution industry?
Yes, I was a runaway and I was sexually abused in my home. That's why I ran away. And when I ran away, I moved out to San Francisco, and there was a lot of abuse and a lot of I'm from California, so there's a lot of kind of progressive ideas about sexuality going on out there, and I got exposed to, I would have to say, a combination of the sexuality movement and the women's liberation movement, and everything was just, there was no limits as far as I was concerned. And I, at the time, was reading a book called The Happy Hooker, and it glamorized prostitution. And, that was quite a bit of time ago. I've been out of it a long time. But if you fast forward to now, and you look at the media exposure that people are getting from porn stars, and music that talks about pimping and hoeing, and the influence right now is so much worse than it was back in my time.
Yeah, and you think there's definitely a link between sexual abuse and people going into prostitution and pornography?
Yes, there's a lot of great studies that are going on now. In fact, one of the reasons I'm here at the University of Toledo, the conference, is Celia Williamson, the director of the School of Social Work, did a 10-year study on the prostitution scene in Toledo, and the statistics are that 75% of prostitutes are sexually abused before 18 years of age.
Okay.
But by the time I was 18, I had gone through the broad range of sexual exploitation.
Okay.
And I understand that it's hard to get out of the industry. How did you get out?
Okay, well, I got out a long time ago, but I found that I still had after effects. And my 12-step group that I'm talking about at the conference today, at 1:30, I'm talking about getting out, and it's Sex Industry Survivors Anonymous, and it's the only program in the United States, and we're trying to take it international because this is obviously an international. The thing about the sex industry is that sometimes people don't realize it's going on in their own community. In fact, there was a lot of conversation about people in Toledo. They were saying, is there really a problem here? But as we have seen just with your shows that you've been covering, there's been underage teens arrested. And it's a nationwide problem. Also, another point I'd really like to get in there, I consider our nation's silent epidemic is the commercialized sexual exploitation of children.
Right.
We're talking about children.
Okay, let me ask you one more question because we're really out of time here.
Okay.
At the conference, you guys are debating whether or not to legalize prostitution. Where do you stand on that, and why?
Okay, thank you for asking. I think because a lot of the people that are pro-legalizing, that want to legalize it, they're from my state, California. And sometimes we get a little on the edge there in California. And, legalizing it is only going to help the suppliers. It's only going to help the pimps, and it's only going to help the people. Right now, people don't realize also the sex industry is very organized. It's organized from way above, often loosely based with organized crime. And it's really only going to help the suppliers, and it's also going to normalize it for the Johns.
All right. Okay, Ann Bissell, thank you so much for joining us this morning. The conference does go on at UT throughout the day, and we'll have more on that coming up later on tonight.
That's right. Well, 6:48 is the time right now, and it's also time to check out